So in this episode, I'm actually going to be reviewing an album that was suggested to me by one of my subscribers. So this one is for Daniel, and thank you for suggesting an album. And if anyone wants to suggest albums for me to review, please feel free to leave a comment and I will definitely look into it. I have absolutely no problem on taking suggestions. So the album is, of course, Pantera, Far Beyond Driven. Now, I don't actually own this album on CD, so I had to use Spotify to listen through this weekend. But to be honest, this album is not one that I will be very familiar with. I would have heard The Vulgar Display of Power. I would have heard Cowboys from Hell. This one was not one that I was as familiar with. So certainly enjoyed listening through the album over the weekend. I suppose the album I have in my hand here is the best of the greatest hits of Pantera. So this was a compilation that was released in 2003, and it's actually quite a very good compilation. There's 16 songs on the CD. There's also a bonus DVD with some, I think there's live takes of songs, and there's also the actual official videos of songs as well. So yeah, really good segue into Pantera. I don't own any of the Pantera albums, the official releases, but I plan to change that in the next coming months. So stay tuned for that, because when I get them, I'm probably going to review them. And on a side note for Pantera, as a lot of people will be aware, they are now reformed with Zakk Wylde on guitar and Charlie Benante on drums. And they're out touring as a four-piece. They played a lot last year and this year, but they've actually announced a date for Dublin, Ireland in February, and I am happy to say I'm going to that gig with my mate Eric. So looking forward to seeing what the band sound like. I didn't catch Pantera the first time round, probably a bit too young, wasn't really into them at the time, but looking forward to seeing this lineup of the band, this incarnation. Obviously it's totally different to the original lineup, but I still want to see those songs, and I've never seen Zakk Wylde live either, and as a guitar player that's certainly something I want to do. So let's talk about Far Beyond Driven. So I really like the way Best Ofs split up their songs in chronological order. So in this particular one, as you can see there, they've gone through each album, they've picked the songs, and they've run through them in chronological order, and they've given some information about the songs. So I really like that approach because it's easy to follow. You're kind of in a best of, you're hearing the story of the band, the evolution of the band. I really like that. When bands put best of or greatest hits together and they decide it's like a set list and they try to tweak it and put, this song would be good as the first opening song on the album, and then we'll come into a dip and we'll do some ballads in the middle. They try and have the greatest hits like a set list. I don't really like that. I prefer to just have it as a chronological order evolution of the sound of the band. I think that's a much better approach when bands are doing greatest hits and best ofs. So for example, in this one, the first three songs are from Cowboy from Hell. The next four songs are from The Vulgar Display of Power, and then we get to the four songs on this album which are from Far Beyond Driven. So Far Beyond Driven was released on the 22nd of March 1994 through Earth West. It was produced, engineered and mixed by Terry Date and Vinnie Paul, and co-produced by Pantera. Assistant mix engineers were Tim Kimsey and Sterling Winfield, and it was recorded in Nashville, Tennessee, and mixed in Dallas Sound Labs studio. So the four songs from the album that are included on this greatest hits are song number 8 on this particular album, which is Becoming. That is an absolutely fantastic track. Crushing, great guitar, great drums, everything you would expect from a heavy Pantera song. Got great groove, really, really like it. Song number 9 is called I'm Broken, and again, that's an absolutely classic song. It's got a brilliant groove in this one. Drums are heavy as hell and the guitars are just crushing. Then we've got song number 10, which is 5 Minutes Alone. Again, another fast-paced Pantera song. You know exactly what you're getting. Brilliant riffs, brilliant grooves, great guitar solo in this one as well. And then the fourth song from this album on this collection is Planet Caravan, which is actually a cover of the Black Sabbath song. Now, the band decide to really pay homage to Black Sabbath and play the song very, very close to the original recording. Even Phil Anselmo, he doesn't sound... Phil's the vocalist for Pantera. He doesn't sound like himself. He tries to sound very like Ozzy in this recording. And it works. It actually works really, really well. And it's a nice sort of bit of breathing room between all these heavy songs that's on this album. It's actually, I think it's the last song on the album, but it's still a nice way to end the album because you've got so much heaviness on this album. Like even some of the tracks that I didn't mention there that are on the album, they're actually fantastic. Excuse me. And I need to go back and listen to this album more because some of the deeper cuts on this album really sound good and stand up to the test of any of the other Pantera songs. So I really need to revisit this album. But yeah, Far Beyond Driven, it's an absolute classic. I have to say, from a groove metal or thrash metal, whatever you want to call that genre that Pantera represent, this album definitely nails it, and it's one of their best. I'm going to go back now, listen to the Pantera back catalogue ahead of the gig in February. But I just want to say thank you again to Daniel for bringing this album to my attention and to asking me to review this album. And I'd like to see more of that, guys. So if you're interested in giving me an album to review, stick it in the comments. I'll certainly have a listen and I'll have a look and I'll see if it's something I could accommodate. But I want to get more interaction with my subscribers here on the channel. So greatly appreciate that. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you could also subscribe, share, hit the notification bell and leave a comment. All that stuff really helps out my channel and I greatly appreciate it. And I will talk to you on the next one.